but for the most part, the league has been shut down. It's going to be at least the end of January, but you're still committed to a 55-game full schedule. There's a lot of games to make up.
Yeah, we're going to release the schedule, the revised schedule next week. We had a meeting today. We're working on some final details that'll be released next week. And, I think we owe it to our players and parents and supporters to play a full schedule. I think we have to prioritize that. If it's, sometimes a bit congested, in terms of the number of games, these are players that for the most part haven't played very many hockey games in the last couple of years. I think if you ask them if they prefer to play a little bit more often than they normally do and practice perhaps once less a week, I think every player would say, sign me up for that. So that's really our approach, to get lots of gameplay, to make sure that they get the reps in. And, I would think 55 games and then, our playoffs and all those things are going to be things that, will be much needed for everybody's development and opportunity. So we want to make sure we do the best we can to get those games in. This extended break has certainly created that congestion that we didn't anticipate, but we'll find a way to work through that.
Now, when we talk about congestion, are you trying to stay within the window, which would normally be by April, your playoffs are over, or are you looking at an extension to go deeper into the spring?
I think right now, the intent certainly is to find a way to fit the games in. Our regular season was supposed to end on the 20th of March this year. And with the week that we took before Christmas, we made the decision to extend to the 27th of March. Obviously with the postponement of additional games now, we'll probably be looking at an additional week or so, and then taking another block of games and trying to find some soft spots in schedules. There are soft spots in the schedule. There's times where we could probably add games here and there. We took the direction. It's kind of ironic actually that we reduced the schedule from 62 to 55 with the idea that perhaps we could have a bit fewer games on a weekly basis and focus on player development practice, because that seemed to be the right thing to do. And ironically enough, the way things have turned out, we're going to have to play the same level of congestion. So if you think back to where we were playing 62 games and ending on the the first weekend in March, I think the congestion will be somewhat similar to what we were used to before. It's not going to be radically different. So it's not like we're going to play a multitude of games in succession. We don't typically play 3 games in 3 nights at any time. And I don't think that we'll probably end up doing that either. I think we'll find ways to fit the games in and still have enough rest and recuperation time for the athletes to be well prepared for every game. But it'll just mean some off nights, some Tuesdays that we normally wouldn't play, and some Wednesdays and things like that. But I think that's a commitment the players would be happy to make.
What about tournament play? For example, the showcase kind of idea where you play multiple games over 3 days in one location. Is that part of the revision of the schedule?
It may be. It isn't right this minute because we want to make sure that if teams can play home games, that they have the opportunity to do that. I know places where that's very important. Obviously in Pembroke it's important, Renfrew it's important, Brockville, Cornwall, places that have really strong fan followings. We don't want to deprive spectators of the opportunity to see their team play. And we know there's a benefit obviously to the teams playing at home when they can. Now, having said that, there may be situations where the number of home dates isn't available at the facilities, and we have to say, listen, can we do a showcase? Can we do a two-day showcase where everybody plays during the day and we get the games in, the scouts come to watch and increase exposure that way? And so that's on the table. There's no question that's a distinct possibility. But in the initial outlay of the schedule, those things aren't firmed up, and it won't be firmed up next week. But there'll be things that we'll be working towards to make sure we get the games in. So I think we'll try to play as many as we can in home facilities as single games, and then deal with the number of games that might be on the outside looking in and create those showcase formats to play multiple games in single settings.